Hello and welcome to my channel where we may be dazed but we are not confused. Habari, gani? What's the news? Umoja. Umoja means unity. What is unity? We are speaking of coming together within our communities, within our families, within our geographic regions, coming together with our tribe as one, becoming united as individuals on one accord. So to me, unity is not about blindly following and going along with things that do not align with who you are and what your personal ethics, morality, your personal, maybe even your purpose, maybe even the things that are in alignment with who you are and how you want to show up and how you want to connect with others. But it's about connecting with people and finding those that you have to interact with for various reasons, and also those that you connect with because you choose to connect with, and finding where it is that you can be on one accord without violating your own principles, violating who you are. Because the idea behind Umoja, unity, is to build up your communities to create spaces that are going to benefit everybody that's there, that are going to be life-sustaining, that are going to be spaces that can serve as a foundation for growth and thriving. And as cheesy as it sounds, and it gets said a lot, people say united we stand, divided we fall. To me, this is an excellent principle to talk about because we can witness that in our communities and witness this in our social groups, in our social realities that we're in. That when we're isolated and when we are not able to connect with others, it makes it very difficult to accomplish things. There's so many things that we can do when we are able to come together on one accord with others who can help us carry the load, who can help us accomplish the tasks that need to be done. When it's just and everybody out for their own good and figuring out what they're able to do on their own, you can get a lot less done. Some people might feel like you can get more done more quickly because you don't have to deal with all of the different, miscommunications and things that you can get from working with others, and that can slow you down. But when you can come together on one accord, it can make massive differences, and the gains that you see are more than worth it, which is why it's so important to be united in order to have strong communities that can build sustainable, thriving lifestyles and life experiences for the people who are members of those communities. Okay, so I want to pull a few cards to see what messages we can get for this first day of Kwanzaa, in which we are recognizing unity. All right, so the first card I have here is talking about the untold story. All right, and this is like one of my special cards in my tarot deck. So I leave all the cards in, even the weird ones that come in and they might be advertising something else. And this card is actually, it's like a painting, or it's a book of something, of paintings that have to do with the Rider-Waite tarot artist. And the book's name is The Untold Story. So that's my stuff is coming out, and this is in reverse. So I feel as if in relation to unity, we need to maybe come to grips or recognize some things that were underlining maybe some of the divisions that cause us to not want to come together, that cause us to not want to work together, to not be on one accord. And I feel like some of that is being revealed, or some of that is becoming more widely known, and we're awakening to that so that we can kind of see the value of that, and to see where there is no value to those separations. There is no value to those perceived differences that make us feel as if we can't come together. We can't be on one accord. All right, let's clarify. Let's get another card here. Simplifying your life. All right. It's important to get rid of things that clutter up and cause you to not be in balance. You know, I feel like a lot of us are living in situations and in our greater environments where there's just so much going on, so many distractions, so many things that keep us from being able to focus on the most important things, which is being able to see each other as extensions of one another, because we're so busy doing and trying to get this done and get that done, and everybody's super busy, and you got so many things on your mind, and so many distractions. And when I feel like when people are so busy trying to take care of the complex business of keeping their own head above water, and even if they're way above water, it's keeping that from going down under the waves. You have very little time to look to the left and the right and worry about what other people are doing. And for me, this kind of can feed into this dog-eat-dog rat race mentality, to where you're not concerned about what's going on with this other person, because it's, you know, every man and woman for him or herself. All right. And I feel as if we are coming into a greater awareness of how this may have impacted us and caused us to not be able to connect and see each other again as being extensions of one another. That we're all in the same, we might be in different situations, but we're kind of in similar boats, you know. Maybe a few variations, but we have a lot more in common than what we can. You know what I'm also picking up? Like, I'm thinking about, like, back in slavery, back when there were all these differences that were pointed out amongst the slaves. And, you know, if you don't identify as a person of color, particularly of African American descent, because this holiday that these readings are geared toward are definitely a part of that diaspora, this can still apply. Because on the human level, you know, talking about unity, the experiences and certain things might be a little bit different, but the energies behind it are very much similar. Okay. So when you're looking at slaves back in, you know, the early days in this country, America, what would happen is they would be kind of stratified according to their their gender, if they worked in the fields or if they worked in the house, if they had different skin tones, which was usually a marker of who the parentage was, things like that. All these things were kind of dividing the slaves up so they could never unite, because if they could all actually unite and decide that, what, this isn't a fair situation for us to be in, there was so many more of them, they could have united, against the very small number of people who were running those plantations. All right. And when I speak of unity, it's not to just say that people should be, coming together to revolt and do things like that. But it's more so being able to recognize when the way that you're living is not in alignment with who you are and what you care about and how you see yourself and how you value yourself. And then being able to work with others and connect with others who are of like mind in a united front to create a more livable circumstance for yourselves, because you're going to put that energy into doing something anyways. You might as well unite with others and recognize how you're impacting each other, because you're going to impact each other anyways as well. You might as well take stock of how your way of living is impacting this other person and find mutually beneficial, helpful, sustainable, more pleasant, enjoyable ways of coexisting. All right. And this could probably take some time because, we're not really used to coming together. We live in a very individualistic society where we're constantly being encouraged to do that. Everywhere you look, there are different ways of keeping us separate and keeping us not just physically separate, but looking and viewing others mentally as being separate from us. Like they're not a part of us. Like this is the other. All right. So this is something that can take time because we may not see a clear way to come together in this way, particularly when we've been kind of conditioned to not trust each other, because you don't know who's out to get you. And sometimes there's a lot of truth to that, but I feel like part of what may also help people to unite is to find common ground among the things that you're grateful for. So being aware of what makes you the happiest, what makes you feel like you have the most meaning in your life. What are the things that you absolutely just care about the most and that you wake up every day and you're grateful to have it? And finding that common ground with other people about that is a really beautiful way to connect with others, because that really transcends race, that transcends socioeconomic level, geographic location, language barriers, politics, religion, all of that. When you're able to find common ground among the things that you're grateful for. Because those will be the things that you elevate in importance and that you then will work with others to get more of or have more of. And then it creates a space for everybody who participates in that to have greater peace, greater sense of purpose, greater sense of connectedness, and create thriving experiences and communities for all people involved. Right. So that is what I have for this first day of Kwanzaa, unity, Umoja. Thank you for joining me on this channel where we may be days, but we are not confused. And until the next video, bye-bye.